listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control, and when you say Miami, you're talking to my ball. Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Miami Dolphin fans, and welcome to a very, very special episode of the DolphinsTalk.com podcast. I'm Josh Katzker, joined today by Mr. Dolphins Talk, Mike Oliva. Mike, happy Festivus to you.
Happy Festivus for the rest of us. It's great to be here. We're one day before Christmas Eve. There's not a ton to talk about in the world of Miami Dolphins. There's not a ton to talk about that's really happy or uplifting. So Festivus couldn't fall at a better time for the airing of the grievances.
It's absolutely the best time of year to voice your opinion and to raise your voice and let everybody hear all of the grievances in the immortal words of the incredible syndicated sitcom Seinfeld.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about it.
God bless him. God bless Jerry Stiller.
Genius.
What a
man was a genius. The man was a genius.
So today we are going to air some grievances, but we don't want it to be exclusively about the Miami Dolphins. We're going to air some grievances about the National Football League as a whole as well. And it's not just me. It's not just Mike. We also outsourced this and got a lot of responses from folks on the internet, folks on the Dolphins Talk Extra Discord. So we're going to mix in a lot of that stuff today as we have this conversation, as we air the grievances. But before we get into airing all the grievances,
one thing as well.
Go ahead, quick. Mike.
If you're watching this live on YouTube, and I know it's a Tuesday afternoon, but it's a holiday week, so some people might be off from work. If you're watching this live on YouTube, leave us a super chat with your grievance, and we'll put it on the screen. Not just a regular comment. Leave us a super chat. We'll put it on the screen, and we will read your grievance live on the air.
So don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Go ahead. Get in there. Drop us a super chat. And let us know what your grievances are, whether they're with the Miami Dolphins, which is what we're going to talk about first, or whether it's about the NFL as a whole, or if it's any other grievance. If you got a grievance with us, let us know. This is your opportunity. Drop us a super chat and we'll share it. So here we go. Let's before we get into it, a reminder, make sure you're following us at Amplify to Rock, at Dolphins Talk. Over there is where Mike is. Make sure you're visiting DolphinsTalk.com each and every day. It is your one-stop shop for all things Miami Dolphins, especially as we get moving into the offseason. We expect there to be a flurry of news, hopefully, shortly after the season comes to an end. But whether or not Mike McDaniel is the head coach, neither here nor there, because we're going to definitely have news about the GM search and all of that going on. So that's coming your way as soon as the season comes down, and then we get into draft content and all of the other free agency and all of that stuff that's going on in the offseason. So DolphinsTalk.com, we're going to have you covered over there. If you can't get enough of that, Dolphins Talk Extra, we mentioned it earlier, get access to our private Discord, which is a lot like social media, but a lot less toxic. It's a lot better for you. So head on over to patreon.com/DolphinsTalk. You can join Dolphins Talk Extra for as little as $3 a month. And now through the end of the game in week 18 against the New England Patriots, you can get your first month for only a single dollar using the promo code DTXmas. Wherever you download, rate, review, and subscribe to podcasts, subscribe to this one. Subscribe to the Dolphins Talk podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, anywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe. Smash the like button if you're watching on the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Shout out to Carlos Hernandez and the I Am a Miami Dolphin Fan Facebook page. Everybody watching us live over there, we appreciate you. Hopefully you're having a wonderful holiday season. And finally, Mike, we got to talk about caneswear.com, because I mean, it's, if you've left your holiday shopping till this late in the game, you're behind the 8 ball here, but you might be able to get some overnight shipping and get that last minute holiday gift out. So if you're looking for some Miami Dolphins merch, Miami Heat, Florida Panthers, any of the professional college sports teams in South Florida, caneswear.com is the place to go. They truly are the best and most affordable spot for your South Florida sports team merchandise. How'd I do? Did I get all the plugs in, Mike?
You got it all out of the way. Now we're going to have some fun. And folks, just want to remind people this is all in fun. This is all in fun here. Don't take it too seriously. I can already see hate emails coming my way before we even get going. But this is the airing of the grievances. It's been it's been a rough 25 years being a fan of the Miami Dolphins. Who are we lying? But the past 12 months has been pretty rough itself. So this is the day, the perfect day on this beautiful, lovely holiday we all celebrate as Festivus, to just let it all off your chest, get it out there. And once again, if you're watching live on YouTube, leave us a super chat with your grievance. We'll share it. But yeah, we have a bunch here from some listeners who sent them in advance from our Dolphins Talk Extra. I got a few things I got to get off my chest. I know you do as well. So how do you want to start this?
Well, why don't I dive in first? Yeah, I'll jump in first, because listen, if you're going to start with a grievance about the Miami Dolphins, there's one. Well, I think there's a few obvious.
There's a few,
but I'm not going to go right for the jugular right away. I'm going to jump in with my own. And I was surprised that in all of the crowdsourcing that we did on this, nobody mentioned this, which to me is a shock. But I'm going to jump in with it first and get us started. My biggest grievance with the Miami Dolphins, one of my biggest grievances with the Miami Dolphins, the uniforms. And it was made more obvious on Sunday against the Bengals when you go out and you wear the beautiful, glorious throwbacks from that 1966 season, those unbelievable, immaculate aqua and orange uniforms. And this team made the decision in the late 90s that first they needed to switch away from that kind of classic look that they modified slightly but didn't move away too far from. They modified it to go to the cartoon Dolphin in the late 90s. That was a terrible look. It breaks my heart that you watch Dan Marino end his career wearing that horrible logo. But then from there, they make it even worse. And they transfer over to the current logo, which looks like a pickle getting thrown through an onion ring. It's absolutely horrendous. The colors are not the same. The new shade of aqua is not as good. Listen, Miami Dolphins, you got to get out of these. Go back, make the switch. You give us the throwbacks every year, a couple of times a year. Make the permanent change. Go back to the original logo, the original colors. Go back to that. Those uniforms are a million times better than anything you're wearing now. The new black gimmick uniforms that you wore on Monday night, those are terrible. Go back to the classic aqua, orange, and white. That's what you need, because your current uniforms, your current logo, they are an abomination under God.
I agree. This was on my list. I hate this current Miami Dolphins logo. Go back to the throwback logo full time. It is better in every way, shape, and form. It has history. It has tradition. Instead, we got this fat whale piece of shit logo that looks like a special needs child drew it with a set of crayons. Enough of the new logo. Go back to the throwback logo full time. That's our first grievance.
It's a great one. Why don't you give us the next one here, Mike?
You know what else I hate? Mike McDaniel. That girly man, fancy sneaker wearing, broken watch wearing, talking MFer. Spit it out, Slappy. Get a place ending on time. Win a goddamn challenge. Win a meaningful late season game, you Ivy League elite. The year 2025 was really bad for you, Mike. Spoiler alert. 2026 might be worse, because every Miami Dolphins fan under the sun hopes your year starts with you're fired. That's a good one. Because that's what's needed. We got to get Mike McDaniel out of here. We did a whole show last night. Go and listen to the Same Old Dolphin show from last night. And I love your brother. I love Aaron. And half of what he said was right, but he goes, losing's not about the head coach. It's 100% about the head coach, because the only way he's going to go is if we lose more.
Yeah, and the whole reason that they lose well, not the whole reason, but a lot of the reason is because of that head coach and his problems. So, yes, do we have a grievance with Mike McDaniel? We absolutely do. The next one comes from Fish Pilot on the Dolphins Talk Extra Discord. He says one of his grievances is that this team seems to have a disdain for the fans. It feels like an adversarial relationship most of the time. Because you get fans that say, listen, the fans want a winner. That leads into my next problem, is that this is a team that celebrates rather than rejects mediocrity. This team would much rather have fans of the visiting team come and feel welcome in the stadium. They want to have a party atmosphere. They care about that. They care about making the vibes good, making it feel like a South Florida party. And they care about all of the superficial nonsense and none of what actually matters when it comes to football, which is putting a competitive product on the field. They would rather celebrate a team struggling their way to 8-9 than looking at a team that's 8-9 and going, that's objectively bad. That's objectively among the worst things that you could do, and fixing the problem and making the changes to fix those problems, such as getting rid of the bad players, getting rid of the bad coaches, getting rid of the bad GM. They finally did that last thing this season. But yeah, it seems like this team the organization is much more worried about PR and the overall perception of things than what the fans actually want, which is a winning football team.
Hey, perfect example. Last year, this time, I think even this week, or maybe it was last week, they beat San Francisco at home and gave Mike McDaniel a game ball with a losing record.
That's right.
Which leads me to my next one. You know what I hate? Stephen Ross, the most inept fucking owner in the NFL. This guy has ruined Miami Dolphins football for me for 18 years. He refuses to sell the team. He probably isn't going to fire Mike McDaniel, and he's going to ruin the 2026 season for me. Screw you, Stephen Ross. Screw you. I hope you step on one of your grandkids' Legos this holiday season when you're not wearing any shoes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest one, right? Every problem with the Miami Dolphins, immediately you can turn it around and point the finger at Stephen Ross, and he's the biggest problem of them all, because
he better fire
he's
McDaniel.
the one.
That's all I'm
he's
saying.
the old.
Better fire.
What's that?
He better fire McDaniel. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely, and the biggest thing is that he is a kind of an absentee owner. He seems much more content to hand the day-to-day business operations over to somebody else, and he just kind of checks in every once in a while because he doesn't actually know football, but he's loyal to a fault to these guys. We saw it with Chris Greer for years and years and years. Before Chris Greer, we saw it with Jeff Ireland for years and years and years before we finally made this decision. And it's like, now I don't know what else you need to see to know that Mike McDaniel is not the answer as your head coach. And yet he's still, reports are getting leaked out that he likes him and he's happy about it. We heard from so many people. On the Dolphins Talk Extra Discord, Patrick Mullen on Discord, Misha Rohn on Discord, Timbo, Mark Nelson on Discord. We heard from Rich Moldy Muffin on Blue Sky, Hockey Chick 6 on Blue Sky. You might know Jack on Blue Sky. Biggest grievance is the gap between the ownership's ostensible idea for the team and what the fan base wants, like what we just said. And all of it is Steve Ross. Our old buddy, Josh Houts, in his response was Stephen Ross doing the waddle dance.
Oh, that's so
That
annoying.
is all you need. That's all you need to know. Stephen Ross, probably the single biggest problem with this Miami Dolphins franchise.
Here's why he's a problem. Because the Miami Dolphins are third on his priority list. You got Hudson Yards, you got his West Palm Beach project. Oh yeah, I own this little football team worth billions of dollars, and I'm more worried about putting a racetrack around the stadium. Screw the fan park. You can walk from the Walmart next door. I could care less if it's just fan parking. Let's build some courts for tennis. Let's do all this other nonsense. And when someone offered him $10 billion to buy the whole thing, lock, stock, and barrel, a year or so ago, he goes, no, I'm good. Why? Sell the freaking team. You don't want it. You don't even care about it. You're more worried about other things. Sell the team. For the love of Christ, sell the team.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. Let's go to a couple next. I feel like there are several here that are all in the same kind of vein here. Tech Nurse John says, my biggest grievance with the Miami Dolphins is wasting the last 26 years. Gary Bettman on Blue Sky, my biggest grievance with the Dolphins is a history of terrible decisions.
Yep.
Mind the Gap 575, my biggest grievance is with the Dolphins doing the same stupid shit over and over and over again, claiming that continuity is a virtue in itself. Here's one from Chris Lawton on Blue Sky. My biggest grievance with the Dolphins is that they lured me in as an impressionable teenager by being successful. This was the early 80s. And since then, I've been trapped in a one-sided relationship where I follow them for the few crumbs of joy they've given in a quarter.
Chris, I hear you because that's me. I feel like I'm in that boat as well. I fell in love with the team in the early 80s, that whole nonsense. And, there are days I wake up. Why wasn't I a fan of the Giants? I would have seen them play in like 5 Super Bowls, win like 3. I would have had a much happier sports existence. But no, fell in love with number 13, fell in love with the Dolphins. That's cool. But it's been painful, mainly because of Mr. Here's the deal. Wayne Huizenga wasn't great or perfect. Wayne Huizenga at least tried. I'll give to the day he died and the day he sold the team, at least. He tried. Joe Robbie wasn't the richest man in the world. He tried. Ross, you can say his heart's in the right place, I guess, but he is just so inept. He stinks on toast.
What you got next, Mike?
You know what I hate? I'm surprised it took us this long to get to it. Tua. Screw you, Tua. I didn't always hate you, but I hate you now. You took the money and you ran out on the field the next day. Show me the money. Acted like a freaking clown. And then you stopped trying. And then you stopped caring. Tua, I hope you have a rotten Christmas.
Oh, Tua is almost like, to me, Tua was almost an afterthought because he's really no longer part of the organization.
But he's the black cloud that's going to hang over it for 2 to 3 years.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because he's going to weigh us down. He's going to weigh us down until the Dolphins until they find their Bo Nix, who is capable of playing them to a higher level on a rookie contract in spite of the $30-some-odd million in dead cap that the Dolphins are having to juggle because of it. That is the stain that Tua is leaving on this organization.
You know who's lucky? Because I have my little list here. Chris Grier is lucky he got fired on Halloween. Otherwise, I might have went on a 20-minute rant about Chris Grier today. But since Grier's not here, he is safe from my wrath.
That's right. We're not gonna rant on Chris Grier because we've done a lot of that, and he has finally been held responsible for what he has done, which is, I mean, we're still walking around looking at Chris Grier's masterpiece, this version of the Miami Dolphins. But here's one. Here we're gonna go. We have a little throwback. Can we have a throwback grievance?
Absolutely.
Here's one from Evil Miami Monkey on Blue Sky. He says, despite the last quarter of the century, my biggest grievance with the Miami Dolphins is still Don Shula wasting Dan Marino's prime.
I love it. That is right there what they call Italian Alzheimer's. You forget everything but the grudges. That's holding a grudge for many, many years right there. I love it. That is, you know what? It's true. Shula did squander it. Wouldn't fire Tom Olivadotti all those years. He had a terrible defense. Didn't give us a chance. Lost big home. He lost that 1985 AFC Championship game at home to the Patriots, who they just beat a few weeks earlier. 1992 AFC Championship game. They didn't even show up against the Bills at home. He blew so many chances with Dan. It's not even funny.
It is heartbreaking that Dan Marino was in a lot of ways one of the greatest players in this franchise's history, and unbelievable that he only got to the one Super Bowl. And that team was mismanaged. Quite frankly, people look back at those being the halcyon days of the Miami Dolphins, but that was when the Dolphins were good, but they were even great, but they couldn't quite get to elite because of some of that mismanagement.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the guy we saw last week, Joe Burrow. Year 2, makes it to a Super Bowl. Probably should have won that game. They were very close to winning, and I don't know if he'll ever get back if he stays in Cincinnati, honestly.
Yeah, it's that's something to keep an eye on, because it sounds like that situation is devolving. And there he is, a great player with 2 outstanding receivers, And he actually even has a little bit of a decent running game, but that defense is so bad. They're going to have to completely rebuild it. And yeah, there are certainly shades of that, those Marino era Dolphins over there.
Yeah.
Mike, you got another one for us?
I got one more for the Dolphins. And this one, and I'm sorry if you're a fan and if you think I'm talking about you, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I hate fake fucking Miami Dolphins fans. The fans who, when Miami loses 3 or 4 in a row, they hide on Twitter. You don't see them on social media. You don't hear a word from them. Then when Miami beats a shitty-ass team or two like the Jets or Washington with their second string or the Saints, they're on Twitter acting like Tommy fucking tough guy. Look at us. The Dolphins are great. Look, you guys are all a bunch of idiots. You all nervous for nothing. Mike McDaniel's great. Tua's great. You guys are assholes. You are clowns because you fail to be critical of this team ever. And when they lose, you run in to hide under the sheets of your little mommy's bed. But when they win, you're out there acting like a tough guy. And we always know they're going to lose eventually. And that you go right back into hiding. So if you're a fake fan like that, screw you. You're an asshole, fake phony fan. I hate those people.
I'll tell you what, and I was going to try, I had that something similar to that at the front of my mind. And I was like, I don't know if I want to get the fans involved here, but I am going to say this.
I'm getting it off my chest.
Yes, it's absolutely worth it. And it's also worth it to tell people, stop celebrating mediocre talent. The number of mediocre players that people fall in love with. I don't want to hear anybody defending Chop Robinson to me anymore.
Oh, we got to re-sign Rasul Douglas. No, we don't. He's 32.
No.
We don't have to re-sign him. Listen, one wanted him last year. We're lucky.
We don't need to. Like, the Dolphins, this goes back to the celebrating mediocrity thing. We've been mediocre for so long. It's been so long since we've been an actually good football team that people fall in love with guys that are the best players on mediocre teams, thinking that they're something special. They're not something special. This team is mid at best right now. And celebrating it as though it's something spectacular is a fool's game. And so if you're one of those fans that is puffing up your chest because, listen, Jalen Waddle is not one of the best receivers in the National Football League. He's not. He's the best we got, but he is not elevated to that point of being a true number one receiver, at least not at this point. And to me, I have doubts as to whether that's ever going to happen. But listen, fans, be a fan however you want. Be optimistic all you want.
But don't be fake about it.
The kind of fan that is going to get in somebody else's face and is going to get in the replies of, stop hating. You're hating all the time. Why are you hating so much? Durka. Why am I hating so much? Because the team effing blows. That's why I'm hating.
Yeah. I had a guy tell me yesterday, all you guys ever talk about is everything that's bad. He goes, I know there's a lot of bad, but there's always a silver lining. No, there's no silver lining. We're going to be in salary cap hell for well over a year because of this freaking quarterback and the last general manager and our current head coach who had to pick up the phone to the owner. Oh, you better pay $2.5. There's no silver lining here, folks. I'm sorry to burst your bubble here on Christmas week. This is going to be painful for a while. And I'm not going to sit here like other people do and lie to you and twist the truth, make it feel like, oh, it's really not that bad. No, it's bad. This is worse than 2019. This is bad. And I don't get no joy in saying that. I'm a fan of this team. Look at what's freaking behind me. I'm a fan. But, don't be a fake fan. Show up when they lose. Show up when they win. Don't hide on social media. And then, when they do beat some crappy team, oh, look at us. We're great. No, we're not. Just say they beat a crappy team.
That's it. You can say that. That's okay.
No one's taking away your fan card.
Celebrating mediocrity puts you down the same road that we've been on for years and years and years. Meanwhile, and I said this last night in the same old Dolphin show, look no further than your own division, where you have the New England Patriots, who realized that that quarterback that they spent high draft capital on was not the guy. They moved on from him. They brought in a head coach who was there for one season, wasn't good enough, moved on from him. They've replaced them both, and they're now in position to end up the number one seed in the AFC. Like, you don't have to look far to hold up a comparison and go, this is how bad we are. And it's okay to admit we're not good enough. And the sooner you can do that and hold the team responsible and hold the team accountable for the fact that they're not good enough and the fact that they're doing the same things over and over and over again, the sooner that hopefully we can begin to force their hand and get a little bit of a better product. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah.
Any more grievances on the Miami Dolphins before we shift our focus to the league as a whole?
No, I think that's all I got on the Dolphins. Tua McDaniel, Ross, the fans, the logo. That's all I could. That was all on my list. So I got all that off my chest. I actually feel kind of good, Josh. Not gonna lie, feel kind of
It's
good.
good. It's cathartic to get this out there like this. You know,
Yeah.
it's helpful. A reminder: hit us up with a super chat with your grievance, and we will.
I saw we
read
have
them
one
on the air. We have one in, so we'll get to that here. We'll get to that. So let's take a look at it now. It's actually a question about the fan base. So this is from Ash.
Perfect.
Ash D65. I have a question. How long before this fan base hits its breaking point and a boycott starts?
I don't know about a boycott, but you're here now.
Yeah.
This is it. This fan base has reached its limit. I do a show almost every week with Allie. You might know her as Dolph Freaky 2022 or 2023 fan year. I'm not sure which year. And, she was supposed to go to the game week 18. She ain't going. She was supposed to go to the game versus Atlanta. She didn't go. When you start to turn off people who you've named fan of the years and they're like, I can't do it no more and all this stuff, that's when things are bad. It's not just her. I've seen, like I said, I've said this story a lot. Every October, I go down to a game with Tom. That Saturday is a big fan club weekend. Thousands of Miami Dolphins fans show up at this one place. This year, almost nobody showed up. Like, there was nobody there. And it was kind of sad to see the fan base is at its breaking point. They're still flying the banners over. This week versus Tampa, no one's going to be there. It's a holiday week anyways. You're going to get people who just have tickets with nothing to do. Maybe will show up, but a lot of fans aren't going to show up and watch this trash. So the fans are at its breaking point, and if they have a clue and can read the room, and they bring back Mike McDaniel after the statement he put out last year this time with all that nonsense, status quo is not good enough, blah, blah. If they bring him back when he has a worse record, this fan base is going to go nuclear.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think we're as close to a full-on boycott as you're ever going to see with this team. And if they go out and they put up another stinker against Tampa Bay on Sunday, 2 games in a row getting blown out at home, it wouldn't surprise me if Mike McDaniel doesn't make it to week 18 at that point, if that happens. So, yeah, I think we're getting pretty close. And now we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot away from the Miami Dolphins because they've been the brunt of our frustration all season long. But the Miami Dolphins are but a single cog in an enormous corrupt machine called the National Football League. And there are so many things that we dislike about the National Football League. And we're going to air some of those grievances right now. And in fact, we're going to start with a grievance that comes from my brother from the exact same mother, Aaron the Bryn. If you are a subscriber to Dolphins Talk Extra, you may have already heard this take because the clip that I'm about to share is from the bonus segment that we did on Sods Extra. We do an extra segment every week exclusively for our Patreon members. And Aaron's grievance originally aired on that show exclusively for Dolphins Talk Extra. But because it was so good, I felt like I needed to share that with the audience as a whole. So here it is. Aaron's grievance on the National Football League.
My grievance with the NFL is I should be able to watch the majority of football games without cable. Or if I pay for one streaming service, if I pay for your NFL Sunday ticket, I should get every game. If I am paying for your league-sponsored NFL game service, I should get every game. I should not have to subscribe to 5 different streaming services to watch my team specifically. I'm not even talking about to watch every game in the league. I should be able to say, there should be a platform where I can say, I am a Miami Dolphins fan. I don't live in the South Florida market, but I am willing to pay so that I have every Miami Dolphins game on my TV. And I should be able to do that without having to pay for NFL Sunday Ticket, for cable, for Peacock, for, Amazon, for all of this nonsense. I shouldn't have to pay. I should be able to say, you could do tiered subscriptions where you have to pay extra to have all the games or whatever, but you can pay to have a plan so that you get all of the games for your one specific team out of market. And I should be able to do that because this is insane at this point that I could pay for NFL Sunday Ticket and it covers like 2/3 of the football games. That is my grievance.
Not a bad one.
No, it's a really good one.
It will never happen, but it's not a bad one. And I know we're going to do a show probably, I don't know, soon. I don't know when soon is. Talking about media rights and stuff, which will probably be, I don't know if that's going to be here or on our Patreon, but I'll dive in more when we do that show on that aspect, because I hear that a lot from fans. And there is a reason why that has never been out there to buy. Trust me, the league knows about it. But there is a reason, but I'll save that for that show. But no, he's right. That is a grievance. It's really annoying. If you just care about one team, you just want to pay here $400. I don't care. I just want to watch the one team though. Don't make me get 7 other subscriptions where I got to pay for, Paramount Plus every month for the one game a year, or for Netflix, or if you're not into Netflix, if you're not into Peacock, you don't want to have to pay for it if you don't have to, which I get.
Right. It's patently ridiculous. And it's like the one thing that I know not a lot of people watch Major League Soccer on the grand scheme of things. There's not a lot of people that watch it. And there was, ultimately their deal with Apple Plus ended up being a downer for them because it was behind a paywall and the game wasn't on regular TV. So people couldn't find MLS games when they wanted to. But the thing that they got absolutely right with the MLS Apple TV deal was that you paid your $80 a year for MLS Season Pass on Apple TV, and you got every single game. No blackouts, no nothing. You got every single game. It didn't matter. You didn't also have to subscribe to Amazon Prime. You didn't also have to have Netflix. You didn't have to blah. You paid your one price, and you got every single game. I know that there are a lot of reasons why these other leagues are never going to do that. MLB is never going to do that. NBA is never going to do it. And the NFL is certainly never going to do that. The biggest reason of which is dollars.
They don't have to. Yeah.
Because they all they care about is money. They care about rights deals, and, they can split it up amongst a million, a bunch of different companies. And yeah, that means that fans are going to have to shell out more money to watch the product, but they don't care because their pockets are being lined by the rights deals themselves. So that doesn't matter whether the fans are going to watch it. And the second part is fans are going to dish out the money anyway. So it doesn't matter to them. They're going to do that. They're going to spread it far and wide. And that's another one of my grievances with the NFL is that they care more about the dollars that they can use to line their pockets. I'm talking about Goodell, this clown of a commissioner, and all of the owners of all of the teams. They care more about lining their pockets with rights money and merchandising deals and all of that stuff than they care about making sure that Joe and Jane fan can have easily accessible access to follow their football team. At the end of the day, they don't give a squat whether you've got to pay $500, $600, $700 to have access to all the different platforms in order to watch your team. They don't care about that because ultimately, if you don't have the money to do that, somebody else is going to. The stadium's always going to be full, and there's always going to be people subscribing to Sunday Ticket on YouTube, so it doesn't matter to them. And is that frustrating? Yeah. Absolutely. Is it one of my biggest grievances with the NFL? Yes, it is.
Let me add on to that real quick. And first, as Jordan said, everyone smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube, which I think we forgot to mention maybe. Smash that like button. But here's which ties into what you said, international games. Roger Goodell will play a game in a third world country, make the teams fly 18 hours each way if he can make 10 cents. These international games, look, I get it. You want to take the game, make some more money, because they've pretty much maxed out this country when it comes to making money. They can't, there's no more. I mean, they got the game on every streaming service. They got it on every network. They're playing games on Thursday. They're playing games on Monday. Throw a game on a Friday night every now and then. They'll play 2 games on Monday. Well, they have maxed out every penny out of this country. So the only way to get more money is to leave the country. But, you want to go to Canada. You want to go to Mexico. You want to go to the UK. Okay. We're going games in South America where it's not even safe, I don't think. We're playing games everywhere, and it's only going to get worse. And we're only a few years away, maybe 10 by a few, like 7, 8, 9, 10, from an international Super Bowl. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
Yeah, it's coming, and it's coming soon. There's so many more of these things. Here's another thing on the same realm of the NFL caring more about money than anything else. Not only do they care more about lining their pockets than they do about fan service, they also care more about money than they do the safety of their players. And there is no greater evidence of that than you look at the schedule. The NFL season is already too long. It's already 17 games. It shouldn't be that long. You don't need that many games. As this was a comment that came to us from Fin Fixation on Blue Sky. It says the NFL season has become too long and player injuries reflect that. It should be a 14-game season. We already know who the good teams are and aren't. And that's absolutely right. And the fact of the matter is, they're not done expanding the season.
It's going to 20. It's going to 20.
We are eventually going to have an 18-game season with each team having 2 bye weeks. It's coming. It is coming, and it's going to happen because the NFL knows that everywhere they go, they dominate. So why wouldn't they maybe start the season a little bit earlier or run the season a little bit later so that the Super Bowl, rather than happening at the very beginning of February, is maybe happening in the middle of February. It gives them that little bit more ownership over. And again, the competition at this time of year, it's baseball postseason, which is happening at the beginning of the NFL season, which, it doesn't really matter that much. And then it's the beginning of the NBA and NHL seasons, which are, like
mean nothing.
It's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket compared to what the NFL can do. So listen, they're going to continue, and they don't care about player safety. It's all lip service anyway. They are always doing just enough. They're always saying just enough to try to avoid like a PR catastrophe. That's all they're doing, is they're doing everything they can to cover their own asses. And then after that, that's as far as they actually care. The biggest thing is money in their pockets. That's the biggest thing.
Here's the thing too. If you're someone saying, well, the players won't go for it. Yes, they will. Here's why. Short term, more money in their pocket. And these players are only in the league, 3, 5, 6 years, most of them. By the time this is announced, by the time it's put into action, they're going to be out of the league. So give me more money now. It's the next guy's problem who's in college. They're going to be the ones having to put up with this, not me. So the current players, they're going to vote this through because it's short term, more money for me for maybe 1 year or 2 years. I have to do it. Then that's the next guy's problem, and I don't care about them. So it will go through. It's going to happen. They're going to have 2 preseason games, 18 regular season games, 20 total. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Yep.
Before we get to some more here, I got one I want to share that's non-Miami Dolphins related, Josh. You know what I hate? The Buffalo Bills. These inbred looking motherfuckers jumping through their tables in 10-degree weather, cousin Marion, non-showered, cross-eyed assholes who look like they all run the Ferris wheel at the county fair. The Bills Mafia can go to hell and stay there. I hate the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, listen, they love to run their mouths. They love to run their mouths. And thus far, they've won as many Super Bowls as I have. So,
yes, they have.
So I don't know what to tell you, Bills fans. I mean, you're obviously a lot closer than we are right now, but still, let's see if you can get over that finish line.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest thing that we heard from in crowdsourcing it is, we heard this from Fish Pilot on Discord, Patrick Mullen on the DolphinsTalk Extra Discord, Misha Rohn on the Discord, Timbo on the Discord, Mark Nelson on the Discord. It all comes down to what Patrick Mullen says. They have to do something about the referees. Misha Rohn says the officiating is a disaster and inconsistent. NFL has to fix it when they're in bed with the sports books, which is a whole other thing. It's a whole other grievance, is being in bed with the sports books. But yeah, the officiating in this league absolutely sucks. What is the catch? Who does anybody know what is a catch? Does anybody know what constitutes holding? Does anybody know what are any of these rules? They're all so vaguely defined that it's left up to interpretation, and the referees can kind of, make decisions on a whim as to what a rule is. What is it? What, like this? I mean, we look no further than the Sunday game against the Dolphins. Theo Weiss gets called for an offensive pass interference. He's running a route and the defender comes crashing into him. One of the worst offensive pass interference penalties I've ever seen. There is absolutely no consistency in how these games are called, and that is a significant problem across the league.
And there's two ways to fix it. I know people say make the refs full-time. It's never going to happen because that involves too much money, and then it's just not going to happen. Here's what you do. Every play is reviewable. This whole thing, pass interference, can't be reviewed. It's a 60-yard swing, 70-yard swing in somebody's plays. It better be goddamn reviewable. And here's the deal. Every play is reviewable. Each team gets 2 challenges. If you win, then you get to keep it. That's fine. But then it gives teams a chance to review anything. And it's not going to slow the game down because each team only gets 2. And yes, if they win, they should be able to keep it because the ref got it wrong. That's number one. Here's the second thing. If you watch this year any college football, what the ACC did this year is they opened up the replay booth. So if you're watching Clemson versus Syracuse on ESPN, there's a play that's under review. They got a camera. They open up the mics, and you can hear the review guys talk amongst themselves as they rewatch the play. We're looking for this. We're looking for that. Oh, here. His foot's out of bounds here. Turn the angle to the other camera. Yep, it's out of bounds there. Not a catch. Hey, ref, not a catch. 2nd and 9 at the 20. You can hear them talk through it. So make it transparent for everyone. The ACC, the only thing that they do right in the ACC is that make it transparent for everyone in every play. Holding, pass interference, roughing the passer, reviewable. Every play is reviewable. You only get 2 to challenge, and you better be right. So don't waste them. But that's how you fix this problem.
I think that's a very good one. I think that's a very good solution. That actually leads me to the next thing that I have on my list. If you're okay with me going ahead,
go.
Because the next thing that I have, one of my next problems with the NFL is, what's the deal with instant replay? When is it up to the team to challenge a call on the field, and when is it up to the booth to make the decision for us? Like, if there is going to be a challenge system, then don't have the eye in the sky deciding that it's going to make decisions on its own, because otherwise it's unclear as to when does a coach need to use a challenge. You either, the call on the field is the call on the field, and that's the end of the day, and somebody's got to use a challenge. I think you need to fix the rule that if you have 2 challenges and you win both challenges, you get another challenge, and you continue to get challenges until you get one wrong. And then that way you can take the eye out of the sky out of it, except for the last 2 minutes of the half, because otherwise it's like, we don't need expedited video review when you have a challenge system in place, because how does anybody know when is time to challenge and when is it not time to challenge? Enough with that. You implemented the video review system, and that it's the challenge system, and that's the system in place. If the referee gets it wrong on the field, then let the coach throw a challenge. That's the end of it. We don't need expedited review unless you're going to give expedited review for every single call, no matter what. And if that's the system you want to go to, then God bless you, go do it. But the mixing and the mass matching and the indecision on what is absurd at the best. And again, comes back down to the fact that there are rules that are just inconsistently applied across the league.
Yeah. I got one for you. Stick with me on this one. You know what I hate? O's the mentalist. I'm sick of this fucking guy. I turn on NFL pregame shows. He's there. I turn on College Game Day. He's there. I turn on the Pat McAfee show. He's there. I watch a podcast from Barstool Sports. He's there. I turn on WFAN. He's there. I turn on The View. The goddamn View. He is there. Everywhere I turn, O's the mentalist is there doing these dopey tricks. His 15 minutes of fame has to be up. We get it. You can guess people's PIN number. You can guess someone's jersey number. You can guess their social security. We get it. I don't know how you do it. And honestly, at this point, I don't even care anymore. You're everywhere doing the same dopey tricks. Enough of O's the Mentalist in 2026. I can't take this guy anymore.
I love it. I love it. Love that one. Can I give you another one? I got another one for the NFL.
Go for it.
This drives me crazy. As somebody who does subscribe to Sunday Ticket, NFL, can you guys learn how to schedule games in a way that makes freaking sense? How are you going to have your 1 o'clock window? There are 9 games at 1 o'clock p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. And then in the 4 o'clock window, 3. What are you doing? You've got Sunday Ticket available for everybody. Split the games up half and half. I don't care that, Fox or CBS has their national game of the week that's in the 4 o'clock window. I don't give a crap. Split it up. If you've got 12 games going to take place on a Sunday afternoon, put 6 of them at 1 o'clock and 6 of them at 4 o'clock, and enough of this. Enough of the nonsense. It's so ridiculous that you got 9 games on at 1 o'clock and then there's 3 on at 4 o'clock. Why are we doing this?
Josh, I want to make your head explode because I don't think you've probably seen this yet. And I know this week is weird because you got 3 games on Christmas, which throws a monkey wrench into this. I don't know if you've seen this week's schedule. At 4 o'clock this week, there's only 2 games. Let me tell you what those 2 games are.
Oh, I can't wait.
At 4:05 on CBS, you have the Giants at the Raiders.
What a game! The number 1 pick bowl.
And then at 4:25 on Fox, you got Philadelphia, which has already clinched the East, versus the Bills, who are already in the playoffs. At 4 o'clock this Sunday, after Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, family in town, Sunday, everyone finally going home. You got 5 minutes. You got like an hour or 2, or you got however long to finally put your fat ass on the couch, watch some TV, and just relax when everyone out of the house. All the wrapping paper's gone. All the gifts are put away. Maybe even took down the tree. You're just going to finally relax this weekend. At 4 o'clock, you got those 2 garbage games to watch.
That's unbelievable. That can't be right. Really?
It's 100% right because you got 3 games on Christmas. So they lost 3 games for a Sunday. So at 1 o'clock, you got Arizona, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Saints, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Colts, Tampa, Miami, Patriots, Jets, Seattle versus the Panthers, which should have been flexed to 4. And then at 4 o'clock, you got Giants, Raiders, Eagles, Bills. That's it.
That is unbelievable. Yeah, that 1 o'clock window. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Seattle, Carolina, New Orleans, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, New England, and the Jets, Tampa Bay and Miami, Arizona, and Cincinnati. That's
it. That's. I mean, you got the Panthers game, which is good, home versus Seattle. That's pretty much it. The Patriots aren't losing to the Jets. Tampa ain't gonna lose to Miami. Spoiler. Jacksonville and the Colts. Jacksonville's got something to play for, I guess. So do the Colts. That game's not bad. Tennessee Saints, who cares? Pittsburgh Browns, who cares? Cincinnati, Arizona, both. I mean, you got 2 good games at 1, and that's it. Now at night you do have San Francisco, Chicago at 8:20, but that's at 8:20. Okay, that's a good game. But and the games on Christmas, you got Cowboys, Washington.
Oh yeah, that's the funniest thing about this.
Yeah, Lions. First, the Vikings. Lions still have an outside chance. Not a good chance, outside chance, but okay. And then you got Kansas City with no quarterback at home versus the Broncos. Oh, you also got 2 games on Saturday, which hurts that 4 o'clock window too. The Saturday games are actually pretty good. But yeah, it's like there's no games at 4 o'clock this Sunday when most people probably for the first time all week are going to be able to sit down all in, just kind of relax. I mean, nothing to watch unless you care about who has the first pick of the draft.
This is the problem with like it's flex the games. Make these games flexible. I know, understand. Christmas is a big thing. It's difficult to flex.
That one you can't do.
But like, you can't do. It's just they make all of these decisions about who's going to be in these big primetime spots, and then you end up with these terrible games. I think
a lot of luck.
I think they've only flexed 2 games out all season. Like I think across the board that
Cincinnati, Miami was one.
That was the game they flexed recently.
And then there was one Sunday night one prior to that. Yeah, there was one Sunday night one prior.
But for the most part, they haven't really done it. So maybe stop favoring these these big teams just because they're in big markets. Maybe we don't need to see the Dallas Cowboys on national.
But they're going to bring
TV
ratings in no matter what. So here's the
Who
deal:
gives a shit?
you're always going to see
Nobody,
the Cowboys.
nobody
you always see
watches
the
cable
Bears.
television anymore. Nobody watches broadcast television anymore. Ratings don't mean anything.
Well, yeah, but those teams, they're going to bring in the highest ratings of what's left of that type of programming. So I get like, you always see the Bears, you always see the Rams, you always see the Giants, you always see the Cowboys. You always see Pittsburgh. Not that it's a large town or city, but that fan base has been there since like the 60s and 70s. So there's a big national fan base for Pittsburgh. Those teams will always be on in prime time. They just will. No matter how bad they are, they will always be on in prime time. I got two more.
All right, let's
just
hear
do
your
them back
last
to
two, 'cause
back.
I'm spent.
Okay, let me do them back to back, and I'm going to save the holiday one for last. Here's what I hate. People who root for two sports teams in the same league. This is my AFC team. This is my NFC team. Shut the fuck up. If you're a real man, you only root for one team. You never leave your team. You can leave your wife. You can leave your mistress. You can leave your job. If you're a total scumbag, you can even leave your kids. The one thing you can't do as a real man is leave your sports team. There's no such thing as having two favorite sports teams in the same league. Where it's like, I like Miami. I also like San Francisco. I'm big. No, you pick one. You're only a fan of one team in one league if you're a real man. And if you try to do it the other way, you're not a real man. Hand in your man card.
Hey, I just want to say I do cheer for the Seahawks, but that's because my wife is a Seahawks fan.
That's different.
I cheer for them. I don't spend
different.
any time thinking about the Seahawks.
You are allowed. That's different. You're not claiming to be a Seahawks fan.
Right.
It's because your wife roots for him. That's fine. I'm talking about grown-ass men who have two favorite teams. No, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's like if you're the kind of guy who's going to walk around with your half and half Dolphins Bills jersey. I don't even know what to say to you.
No, not doing that. No. Unless you have a child who is actually on the Bills, I don't want to hear from it. Okay. Here's the last one. And I know you won't agree, but I need you to lay out on this one. And we don't need to go into a whole long debate about it. We've gone through it 100 times, but it's probably the best way to wrap this one up. Here's what I hate. People who say Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And I'm not the only one. It's not a Christmas movie. And I'm not the only one saying it now. Macaulay Culkin's saying it. Bruce Willis has said it in the past. Vanity Fair, they're saying it. It's not a Christmas movie. The guy who made the movie, he has said it in previous interviews. It's not a Christmas movie. I know it's a cute little debate people like to have around the holiday time. It's played out. It's tired. It's an action movie that happens to take place during Christmas time. That doesn't make it a Christmas movie. The debate's over. I'm not the only one saying it. Macaulay Culkin's saying it. Bruce Willis has said it. Vanity Fair said it. A lot of people say it. It's over.
I'll just say this. I'll close on this. You're right. It's not a debate. And it's not a debate because if somebody says it's a Christmas movie, it's a Christmas movie to them. And that's all that matters. So you might not think it's a Christmas movie. That's okay. You don't have to. But if
I know.
If I say it's a Christmas movie and we watch it at Christmas time in my house, then it is what it is. Now it's a Christmas movie. But
it's not a hill I'm going to die on. Not a hill I'm going to die on, but that's my point.
We did get a super chat here from our Eric 13, and our Eric says, how about liking a team because of a player and then switching teams once the player retires?
As long as you declare one team, you're fine. You can't be a fan of both, though. If I woke up tomorrow and said, fuck the Dolphins, I'm going to root for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm only rooting for the Bengals, and I clear out this room with all the Dolphin stuff and put in all Cincinnati Bengals helmets. I put up a Icky Woods jersey behind me, start hanging stuff for David Klingler, and so that's fine because I got one team. You can only have one team, and you can switch to one team. I wouldn't leave the one team. I think like I said, once you pick your team, that's your team. But okay, but you can only root for one team. You can't say, well, I'm a part fan of the Bengals, part fan of the Dolphins. No, you can't do that.
That's crap. Yeah, and I'll say this: we are living in an era where people are more, especially because with the proliferation of fantasy football and sports betting and all of that, people will say you have more and more people who are not fans of specific teams, that are not fans of franchises, they're fans of players. And so that's a whole different can of worms. If you're a fan of a particular player or whatever, and you don't have an affiliation with the team, that's fine. That's a whole different can of worms, especially, with, you have Sunday Ticket now. You're not growing up with the only one team available to you. So it makes sense that, people are fans of teams. We got another one from our Eric. He gave us another one.
Thank you
guys. Appreciate you. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you. And I think that's a nice way to close it.
Here's a nice one too I want to share because it's about me, and why not? From our friend Mick here. Good column on Dolphins Talk about Fire McDaniel, Mike. I was inspired. That is my goal in life, to inspire people. And yes, I made the case, and it's an easy case to make. It's a real easy case to make, that Mike McDaniel needs to be fired. I laid out all the facts, and yes, they are facts, of why he needs to go. We'll see if the owner will actually pull the trigger. I don't know. It's really a coin toss. I have no idea what's going to happen. But I will say this too, which I know you guys on your show last night talked about a lot of things. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, or if you guys didn't hear this, that Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald said that all this stuff we're hearing about Mike in the next few weeks, the only person to truly listen to is Adam Schefter, because he said Schefter has a pipeline into the Dolphins that everyone knows about. That everyone knows about. Oh, my phone's going off. He has a pipeline into the Miami Dolphins, so his information is going to be the most accurate. So when he came out yesterday and said nothing's sort of been, it's still up in the air, take that over what you might hear from a Rappaport who's saying he's likely safe. That he's saying Barry, and he would know, Adam Schefter's got, he's got the hotline number. He's got the bat phone.
Yes.
Whatever's happening in that building is going to Adam. So take that for what it's worth. Look, that doesn't mean he's going to stay. That doesn't mean that he will be fired. A lot will probably, come down to these last two games. Are they going to look inept to be totally embarrassed? I think that's going to hurt his case. If they actually won them both, that's probably going to help his case. I know that doesn't make any sense. And I know Leslie's going nuts there and like, they should know by now. Yeah, they should, but they don't, because they're not a good organization and they're run by a moron. But so it will come down these last two games, but listen to Schefter more than anybody else right now when it comes to the Mike McDaniel stuff.
And as Phil Montgomery says over here, no changing teams.
That's right.
You're stuck with this poop emoji.
We're in this together.
Absolutely.
We're in this together.
And listen, this has been a really fun show. We've gotten a lot off our chest.
I feel great.
It's been very cathartic. Feel very good about all of these things that we're unhappy about. But this is the holiday season. It's a time to reflect on all of the things that you're grateful for. And as much as I hate them, sometimes I am grateful for the Miami Dolphins because they do bring me a lot of entertainment. They don't bring me as much joy as I would like them to, but
I wouldn't have known you.
They keep me entertained. Yeah.
Look at what it's brought all of us all together.
Brought us together.
Somewhere.
We wouldn't be. Yeah, exactly.
We wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't know you. You'd just be some guy living out there in Auburn. I wouldn't know you from a hole in the wall.
So it's worth noting that there, while this was a show about, all of the things that we're unhappy about, it is worth taking a moment just to reflect on all of the things that you have in your life that are worth celebrating. And as I've said many times in the past, if you are able to hear our voices or see our faces, that means that you're doing a lot better than you might otherwise be doing. So even if that's the only small thing that you have that you can celebrate being grateful for, it's a good idea to do it. Celebrate, be thankful, spend some time with your friends and family. If you don't do the holiday, hopefully you get some downtime to yourself to, just hang and be chill and quiet and stress-free. That's all we want at this time of year anyway. So thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the Dolphins Talk family. This is the last time I'm going to talk to most of you before Christmas. So wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, wishing everybody a very Happy New Year. And hopefully we have some more joy coming our way from the Miami Dolphins in the near future.
I usually say this after the final game, but I'm going to say it now because I'm here with you and we're already done for the season. The great Harry Carey, you're a fan of the Cubs. After every season where they, miserable season or just came up short, up until they won, obviously, which he was dead, he would end the season with, as sure as God made green apples, one day the Chicago Cubs are going to win the World Series. Now, I obviously tweaked that, and I will say, as sure as God made green apples, one day, it ain't going to be anytime soon, but one day, we're all going to be here together celebrating a Miami Dolphins Super Bowl. I don't know when that day's going to come. I might not have any hair. I might be retired. I might be in a nursing home. But when that day comes, I will fire up this podcast network on YouTube because I'm sure it ain't going nowhere. And I will find a microphone, put in my dentures, and we're going to celebrate it together because one day it will happen. And you can save this, mark this date, clip it. It ain't going to be soon, but it will happen, and we will have that time to celebrate together.
I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, I'm alive to see it.
Me too.
All right, everybody.
Pants in the nursing home.
Everybody, take care of yourselves and each other. We'll talk to you again next time. And as always, I'll give you the big one. It's Christmas.
Go
Why
for
not?
it. Go for it.
Go,
Go for it.
Dolphins!
I realize I hate a lot of things.